I'm Lawrence and I run Whitby Acupuncture at St Hilda's, and I wanted to welcome you to the official opening of the dispensary because nobody actually said that, and I've been asked to say a few words about acupuncture. Around 3,000 years ago, whilst Britain was just in the Bronze Age, civilization in China advanced very rapidly. Their inventions of printing and gunpowder, for example, changed the world, and they introduced advanced government, including standardised weights and measures, and even standard sizes of axles so that carts and chariots would fit the roads. In the area of medicine, their textbooks are still the basis of Chinese medicine today. The Chinese were well aware of the close connection of man with nature. We tend to forget today that we all evolved from the sea and that nature still daily influences us. As my anatomy teacher said, we're just a bag of skin filled with seawater. And it's no wonder that our moods change with the moon. Because if you think about it, the moon can lift the tide 17 foot here in Whitby, so we must feel its influence as well. We also know the influence of a bitter cold wind or getting wet in the cold. The Chinese observed that man had amazing self-healing abilities. In fact, a person can live to 100 without ever seeing a doctor. And this self-healing power is so strong in some individuals that they cope with everything that life presents and remain healthy, while others fall ill. I remember hearing an interview on Radio 4 with a lady from Georgia who was 138. When asked the secret of her long life, she said, "That's easy. I gave up smoking when I was 111. I mean, what a strong self-healing power she must have had. The Chinese referred to this power as qi and described how it flows around the body in channels or meridians. In fact, although qi is today generally thought of to be some sort of energy, the exact translation of the characters is more like the breath or life flow, something much harder to grasp than energy like electricity and not really possible to yet measure scientifically. The ancient Chinese felt that illness and disease had three main causes: external, particularly the weather, damp, cold, heat, wind; internal causes, which we call emotions, grief, anger, worry, shock, fear; and miscellaneous causes such as trauma, overwork, constitution, which we would call our inherited genes today, diet, too much or too little food or bad food, exercise, too much or too little, poisons, and even wrong treatment by the doctor. So even in Chinese times, 3,000 years ago, doctors didn't always get it right. These ideas still seem to be totally valid even in today's modern society and often reflect what we call folk or grandmother's wisdom. I mean, who hasn't been told by their mother or granny, don't go out in the rain with wet hair, don't sit on the damp ground, all these things that really stemmed from thousands of years ago. These causes of disease hindered the flow of qi in the body, and we probably today would say reduced a person's immunity. For the Chinese, optimum health could then be restored by restoring this flow, and they used a wide range of techniques to do this: herbs, several types of massage, exercise systems such as qigong, burning herbs on the skin, and inserting fine needles or wires under the skin, a technique we now call acupuncture. Today, the needles used in acupuncture are really very, very fine pieces of sterile stainless steel wire. You can get about 60 of them into the hole in a hypodermic needle. So having an injection or your blood taken is probably be equivalent to being stabbed by a fence post compared with having an acupuncture needle put in. And acupuncture spread from China to places such as Vietnam, Korea, India and Japan about 1,500 years ago and developed differently in each country. There are hundreds of different styles of acupuncture practiced today, but about 85% of the world's acupuncturists practice TCM or traditional Chinese medicine, which is in fact not traditional at all. During the rise of the Communist Party under Mao Zedong, China faced a huge health problem. The leadership at that time preferred Western medicine, which they saw as modern and scientific, unlike their own ancient system, which they saw as superstitious nonsense from the past, and they tried to suppress it completely. However, in 1949, realising the huge cost of introducing Western medicine, they changed their rhetoric and coerced many existing acupuncture masters to collaborate, or get shot, and produced a national curriculum for acupuncture, conforming to communist principles of dialectic materialism and purged of any spiritual or superstitious references. And And Chairman Mao then publicly declared TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, to be a great national treasure. And he rolled it out, standardised TCM across the whole of China, and later in the 70s when China opened its doors to the rest of the world. However, today, acupuncture is very diverse. The dominant Chinese TCM style uses relatively thick needles and strong stimulation of them, whilst other country styles may use thinner needles and no stimulation, or just touch the needles on the skin, or use wooden pegs, or just fingers, or magnets. In short, there are so many types of acupuncture that are so radically different that it is difficult, especially for the conventional scientific community, to grasp how acupuncture really works, despite 30 years of scientific research. Of course, the hundreds of millions of people who have benefited from acupuncture can testify to its effectiveness. In the UK, medical doctors, physios and nurses often practice medical acupuncture. They attend a few short courses and apply the acupuncture without the underlying Chinese philosophy. Lay practitioners such as myself train for 3 or more years and study both the underlying Chinese theoretical framework and get a grounding in basic Western medicine. Most people in the UK today know that acupuncture can help with musculoskeletal pain or help with giving up smoking. Not many know that it is helpful for a very wide range of other health problems, including anxiety, fertility issues, headaches, depression, period pains, hot flushes, and all the common ailments that trouble us. And the reality is that after acupuncture, most people feel more together, more enlivened, and their overall well-being is improved. Acupuncture doesn't just address the specific problem, it addresses the whole person. Hence it is known as a holistic therapy. For some strange reason, the media constantly denigrates acupuncture. For example, a few weeks ago, a study was published looking at 18,000 patients who had acupuncture for chronic pain. And it concluded that acupuncture was as effective for the relief of chronic pain as painkillers such as the NSAIDs, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatories such as ibuprofen or diclofenac. However, the newspapers played down the study for technical reasons, saying acupuncture was of little benefit. What they failed to mention was that 1 in 1,200 patients taking ibuprofen or diclofenac for at least 2 months will die from gastroduodenal complications due to the drugs. About 2,000 deaths annually in the UK alone. Deaths and serious complications from acupuncture are very rare. There's been only a few deaths around the world in the last decades from millions of treatments. And I think that if patients really understood the serious scale of side effects of commonly prescribed drugs, they would perhaps view acupuncture in a different light. The reality is that acupuncture is a safe and effective treatment modality for a wide range of health problems, something the medical and pharmaceutical industry tries hard to suppress.